Welcome to episode 4 of the Velocity podcast. I'm really excited to continue doing these, and today we are taking a little bit of a shift. I'm going to be talking about mindset, actually, and this episode is called More Doesn't Equal Better. So as humans, we're conditioned to want more. Advertising literally is based on this. Every day we see it's like at least 100 messages, they say, of you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not cool enough, your car works, but it's kind of lame. You need the newest car. Or no, your iPhone 17, it works perfectly fine, but you need the 18. That is going to change your life. Every day, this is the non-stop message we see and we hear, and eventually it just seeps into us, into our hearts, into our minds. And the cure is simple. It's money. More money. If you had more money, you would have a better house, a better car, you'd have better relationships. People would just simply like you more. All you need is more money. And I heard this story from Chuck Swindoll, and he did a lot of research. It really resonated with me. So I'm gonna read this because I don't wanna mess up here. I actually think about this quite often. Again, it resonated with me when I heard it, and now it pops in my head. So it's the year 1923, and the world's most successful financiers met in Edgewater Beach Hotel in Chicago. Those present included the president of the largest independent steel company, the greatest wheat speculator, the president of the New York Stock Exchange, a member of the presidents of the United States cabinet, the greatest bear in Wall Street, the president of the Bank of International Settlements, and the head of the world's greatest monopoly. So you had 7 of the world's most influential, wealthiest men. According to one source, these tycoons controlled more wealth than there was in the United States Treasury. And for years, newspapers and magazines printed all their success stories, urging the youth of the nation to follow their example. But there was a follow-up study of these men and that specific meeting 20 years later. So imagine 1923, the hotel, the richest men in the world sitting, chatting, talking about their wealth, knowing they have tons of power. They're sitting in this room, and a mere 2 decades later, a mere 20 years later, the results are stunning. The president of the largest independent steel company died bankrupt, and he lived on borrowed money 5 years before his death. The greatest wheat speculator died abroad, insolvent. The president of the New York Stock Exchange was released from Sing Sing Penitentiary. The member of the president's cabinet was pardoned from prison so he could die at home. And the greatest bear on Wall Street committed suicide. The president of the Bank of International Settlements committed suicide. And the head of the greatest monopoly committed suicide. All 7 incredibly successful, powerful men. Their lives ended in tragedy. Names once synonymous with wealth, power, and influence, in the end were associated with crime, humiliation, and violent death. Yet we continue to chase after money, chasing after power, thinking in the end this will be the problem solver, the great problem solver of our life, although over and over we hear otherwise. I heard on the radio just a couple days ago that the US just crowned its latest billionaire. Somebody won $2.4 billion in the lottery. My daughter turned to me as we were driving. She said, "Oh my goodness, what would you do with that money?" And I was like, I can't even fathom that much money. I don't know what I would do. But I do know this about lottery winners. Studies show that lottery winners often end up penniless within 5 years of winning the lottery, and that they actually have a very high rate of suicide. But how can this be if money is the solution to all of our problems? It dismantles the lie, essentially. If we only had more money, everything would be okay. Mo money, mo problems, I guess. So as much as I love advertising, and again, I don't want to mislead anyone, this is where I get the bulk of my money, is helping people do digital advertising. The new iPhone, I love new toys, I love it all, but it keeps us discontent and in that state of always wanting more, never arriving. So I just think as people, we need to be aware of that when we're scrolling social media for hours every single day. Let's not forget that there's tons of advertisements. Some is overt and you'll see like the CoverGirl makeup or whatever, and some is a lot more subtle, but it still seeps into our mindset. So protect your mindset. I personally believe that contentment is the key to happiness in life. And I know often that advertising and Social media seems to be against us. When we're driving down the street, we're listening to the radio, we hear the advertisements, we see them on the billboards, and we just have to protect our hearts from that. So a quick podcast saying, protect yourself and be mindful of the advertising that's coming at you. It's very effective, and our lifestyle proves that.